Hi everyone, it's Mel, and today I am happy to talk to you about styles in general. So first of all, this video is not scripted like the last one because it's very long to write everything I'm gonna say, and I don't really have time to do this anymore, but I promise I'm gonna try and keep it straight to the point. So I'm not gonna tell you how to find your style. I'm not just gonna talk about my style. I really want to talk to you about messing around with styles. So I have seen this style bend challenge on Instagram, and basically the point of the challenge is to ask your followers about what the main features of your art style are. So your followers tell you how your line art usually is, what colors you usually pick, and then you've got to draw something using the opposite of these features. I've been really lazy on one hand, and on the other hand, I've been really overwhelmed with a lot of things that happened in my life recently. I haven't been drawing as much as I wish, and even though it's starting to get better, I came back to school, so there are probably going to be less drawings and less videos due to this, because I don't have as much time as I did when I was in summer break, obviously. But I still thought that I could draw as much as possible, and I didn't feel like it. And this style bend challenge actually gave me idea to spice things up a little bit and, bring the passion back. I won't actually do the style bend challenge because I've been working for years on my style to try and find someone that I really like, and I just don't want to draw the opposite of it. I don't think I would like what would come out of it anyways, but I still want to talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about styles in general. Finding your style is just, I can't tell you, because I don't think you can sit at a desk and find your style. Just draw things you like, get inspired, draw things you see, and it's gonna turn out you draw things a certain way, and this is gonna be your style. That's it. But a lot of people, a lot of artists, even though they sometimes tend to have a major style that they developed over years, they still tend to have different styles to choose from. I don't think a lot of artists do have one and only style that they'll use all the time. And I think it's a really nice thing to have several styles because you can then play with them. I want to quickly describe this style bend challenge using popular artists that I really like. So I'm going to compare ABD Illustrates, I've talked about him before I'm pretty sure, and May. If you're a digital online artist, there's a good chance you know these guys. Basically, if you asked me what the main features of ABD Illustrates art style were, I would tell you that he does make thick line art. Not the thickest, but it's definitely on the thicker side. His line art is also very clear in general. It's not very messy. It's very clean and nice. When it comes to anatomy, I don't have the right word. I wanted to say chubbier, but all his characters are not chubby. But when you look at internet drawing in general, characters tend to be on the thinner side, and they tend to have longer legs. Not ridiculously long, but longer than reality. ABD Illustrate actually follows anatomy better, I guess. He follows more realistic anatomy, but when it's drawn, it actually looks chubbier than average. He's got much rounder characters and proportions in general, and I find it actually very nice and refreshing. It's a nice change. He puts a lot of thoughts in clothing and in character design in general. He's done a few videos about character design in particular, so yeah, he really does like it. He usually chooses colorful but pastel colors, which are super nice. I really like these kind of colors as well. He draws a lot of D&D stuff. I'm not into it, but you would need to be blind to not see this. And one thing that I hugely like about his drawings is that most of the time he does draw with a huge spectrum of sexualities and identities. It's not technically a part of his style, strictly speaking, but I think that when you draw a theme again and again and again, it kind of becomes part of your style. He's represented so many sexualities and identities. I just like it. Overall, his drawings do have a very nice positive energy. And if you were to do a style bend challenge, you actually took ABD Illustrate as a starting point, I think you would end up with something maybe pretty close to Yume's styles. It's not because I put them in opposition that one is good and the other is bad. They both have amazingly beautiful art styles. Even though they are opposed, it doesn't mean they're not good. They are both good, but kind of opposed. So if I take Yume, I am going to take the style that she uses in Fisheye Placebo, because as I said, many artists do have several styles, so I picked one in particular. So in her webcomic, which is very good by the way, go read it, she uses very thin lines. Actually, there are very few. The line art is not a huge feature of it, and it's rather sketchy. As I said, the proportions of the characters are way thinner and more on the longer side, especially for the legs. It's really, it doesn't look weird or anything, it's just a stylistic choice. She does have more classic clothing, I would say, but with a little bit of a cyberpunk look. There are also a lot of Easter eggs and puns, especially with Vance's t-shirts. You go read it and you'll understand what I mean. The colors are either darker or more saturated, which is a completely different look that I like a lot as well. The only thing is that for me, it is probably much harder to, make work. When it comes to themes, she also does have a nice spectrum of sexuality and identities, but she does really do a lot of work when it comes to political and environmental involvement. She really does make me see nature in such a wonderful way. She shows the importance of nature and how terrible it is that it's being attacked daily, and it's really, really, really important to have artists like this who defend important causes. So yeah, it's completely different styles. They kind of oppose each other with the colors, the line, but they're both nice, and it's just so great to have different styles on the internet that you can look at and like just the same way. So yeah, consistency is good, but the routine can get pretty boring pretty quickly. I haven't talked about myself yet, let's correct that. I'm just kidding, but I personally have 2 to 3 major styles, and they're mostly inspired by artists. I have been talking about other artists a lot in this video and in my videos in general, because I want you to understand it's completely fine to be inspired by other artists. It doesn't make you a bad artist, it doesn't make you a copy, it just makes you someone who takes elements from different artists and builds something new by yourself. So, the style that I've been using mostly recently is like a line art that is on the thicker side. It's not very thick, but it's not really thin, so I would say medium to thick, with the marker tool and paint tool side, very pastel colors and rather monochromatic. When I say monochromatic, I say that I usually focus on one color per piece, and I just put an accent color, but you can clearly, looking at the piece, guess, okay, blue's the main color of that one. This art style is majorly inspired from Elanteri. You probably know her as well. All the links are going to be in the description, obviously, and ABD Illustrate. I also have another style. I actually use that one for the drawing with the girl in the subway with plants. I used another style for that one. So yeah, with a messier line art, brighter, less monochromatic colors, a different atmosphere inspired by Yume, obviously. And well, this is not exactly an art style, it's just something I do sometimes to play around, but it's really rare, so I don't really think it's an art style. But I would say that sometimes I draw more realistic characters, but yeah, I don't work that much on this style, and it's mostly inspired, I would say, by Ross Draws, very well-known artist. He draws semi-realistic to realistic pieces, but with a lot of energy and bright colors, and it is just gorgeous. So yeah, I'm not afraid to say that I'm inspired by a lot of artists, and this is great. You shouldn't be afraid to be inspired. So obviously I struggled a bit more with some of these styles because I don't practice as much with them. Realism really is just for fun from times to times when I think, hey, I should probably practice my anatomy a little bit. but each style offers a different challenge. You can actually try to imitate a style without obviously claiming that it's yours, because yeah, each one is interesting in a certain way. I think Yume's style, at least in Fisheye Placebo, does require a very big work on rendering the colors. There's almost no line art, so you really need to put volume and soul in the colors to make them pop out. With Elantery, it is all about building an atmosphere with the colors and the line art, because the line art is rather thick on one of her styles, and you also have to think about the colors. Actually, when you look at her speed paint, she often put blotches of colors before doing the clean line art to really be able to see the atmosphere that she's going for, and it is so nice. And she taught me a lot about colors. Obviously, realism is a challenge, everyone knows this. If you're trying to paint an actual person, it can end up leading to the most awful abominations of your career. So yeah, I don't think I need to explain why realism is a challenge. It's just complicated. But playing around with different styles is so fun because it can actually help you with your motivation. It's just some renewal. You try something new, you get passionate about it, and you can't stop drawing because you're trying all these new things out, and it's really great. Plus, different styles can be used in different contexts. All these artists I talk about, they have several styles and they use each one to fit what they want to talk about. Elantery's got a style with, as I said, thick marker lines, but she's also got one with much sketchier pencil-like lines. It's the same thing with Yume. She can go very realistic, but she can also go much more simplistic and, use the atmosphere mostly like she does in Fisheye Placebo. And it is just so nice. Play with different styles, try to fit the style you use with what you're drawing, and you're gonna have fun and you're not gonna get bored with drawing. This was my conclusion. I hope you liked the video. I also hope you're gonna have a good day, a good week, a good year, whatever. I hope you'll be happy. And I also hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.